Welcome to your Monday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Andrew Humphrey. Coldest air of the season and the year still upon us. You can tell we've got ice on the Detroit River. How cold does it get later tonight? We'll talk more about that and the break in this cold blast in your 7-day forecast, first at 4.
Sure is frigid out there. All right, thank you, Andrew. First at 4, new evidence today of how COVID-19 is spreading through Michigan. But is there a light at the end of the tunnel? We'll hear from Dr. Anthony Fauci. Plus, here's Paula.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Oxford Schools prepares to bring its seniors back to the classroom, but in a very slow, deliberate, and methodical way. We have those details. These stories and more are happening right now on Local 4 First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4. We've been on an emotional roller coaster with the ups and the downs and the COVID pandemic. Now, we did just receive the newest numbers from the state. More than 44,000 new cases have been reported over the past 3 days. It's a daily average of 14,800. The latest 7-day positivity rate is approaching 33%. So that means at least 1 in 3 people tested are positive. We've also seen 56 additional deaths, and we did just talk to Dr. Frank McGeorge about the new numbers and what he's seen in the ER.
It's good that today's numbers are lower than the last set of record-breaking new cases, but keep in mind, these were from over the weekend, which are always lower. It won't really be until Wednesday that we see the numbers to get an idea of the actual trend. And my guess is they're going to be higher since probably half of the patients that I treated in the ER this weekend were positive for coronavirus, and about a quarter of those people didn't even know they had it. The fact is, Omicron is spreading faster than anything we've seen before, and it's affecting everyone, even many vaccinated people. The biggest difference, though, is the unvaccinated are getting the sickest.
All right. Thank you, doctor. Now, nationwide, the United States has reached another milestone in the pandemic. An NBC News tally shows there have been more than 60 million COVID-19 cases since the past 2 years. The data shows there have also been more than 840,000 deaths. White House medical advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci says he's hoping we could see the latest surge start to taper off before the end of the month.
The South Africans peaked very sharply. They went up, and after a few weeks, they came right back down. I would hope, I can't predict accurately because no one can, but I would hope by the time we get to the 4th week in January, end of the 3rd week, beginning of the 4th week, that we will start see this coming down.
Our coverage continues tonight at 5 with more of the big demand for those COVID tests. We're also going to dig into how and where you can look for testing if you're worried about your status. That part of our coverage continues tonight at 5. Meantime, the COVID pandemic is impacting a political tradition in Lansing. Governor Whitmer and House Speaker Jason Wentworth have announced the State of the State address will be virtual. They say a remote event is the best way to make sure that everybody can take part safely. The governor's husband and Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist recently tested positive for the virus. Whitmer has tested negative. The State of the State will be held January 26th. In other news this afternoon, 41 days after the shooting at Oxford High School, students are getting ready to gradually return to classrooms for the first time since 4 fellow students were killed. Now, they're not returning to the high school this week, but starting a process that will be closely monitored. Paula Tutman has been in Oxford all day long talking to people about how this will play out. Paula?
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon to you, Karen. Hi, everyone. So you can see these signs still all around Oxford, even well beyond Oxford. They say, proud to be Oxford, Oxford strong. They should also probably say Oxford tough. This is tough. This has been so difficult for this community, and even bringing students back with what they call a slow return, even that is going to be tough. The community of Oxford is not in a vacuum, and even people from neighboring communities know someone, or sadly knew someone, who went to Oxford High School.
I had a son graduate just last year, so his girlfriend worked with one of the young men that passed away, and it was tough.
What actual Oxford parents are telling me off camera is, for many of the high schoolers, even though they'll be returning on what's being called a slow return, many of these students are still anxious and still showing signs of trauma. Today, Oxford middle school students return to school, but on a hybrid schedule. For the next 2 weeks, middle schoolers will attend in-person classes Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, middle school students will be doing remote learning. Starting tomorrow, however, high school students will attend classes at the middle school, but only for half days. So that's Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next 2 weeks. The district's saying they want the next 2 weeks to be all about the students, getting them reacquainted with one another, easing them back into academics, and assessing ongoing trauma and mental health with mental health experts on site. There will be no remote learning in between those days, but the high school students will have an option for additional assignments that are aligned with their curriculums. To get students ready to return to the actual high school, the district will be holding 3 open houses January 20th, 21st, and 22nd between 6 and 8 to give parents and students a chance to walk the school facility for themselves. Again, trauma specialists will be on site.
Hopefully the schools are doing the right things and taking the right precautions. And, you know, people are probably going to be scared for a little while, which is normal. But I do think that if you can get back to your everyday activity and normal life as much as possible, you know, obviously be aware. But there again, I just think the struggle is with the mental health.
Yeah, and that really is it. And that's the fear, the anxiety of coming back. And we keep saying students, students, students. But let's say students, 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 teachers, 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 staff, staff, staff. It's really everybody who needs to walk back into that building. We're starting to get some inklings of what's going on inside Oxford High School as they prepare to bring students back. We'll have that part of the story coming up at 5 o'clock. Karen?
Students, teachers, staff, and really the parents too, like you said, Paula, because
everybody.
Sending your child back, you're going to be nervous those next few days just because it is an unknown territory. We appreciate the story and look forward to you later on tonight. Now, in the first forecast, we're finding out if you might need to grab an extra blanket tonight. Probably going to, right? It's so darn cold. We're looking at single-digit temperatures. Let's head over to Andrew Humphrey. I have to admit, my face actually hurt when I tried to walk my dog. He didn't make it very long either.
I know. I wanted to go right back inside. And how about an extra blanket right now if we want to rest or if we want to take a nap, right? But certainly the coldest day of the season is here, and it is here, fortunately, only for a short time. But winds are streaming in from the northwest, not only here in Detroit, but across much of the Midwest from the Arctic Circle, essentially. And it's plunging our temperatures only in the teens to about 20 degrees at this hour. I mean, look at Flint, only at 12. Lapierre's at 13, while it's 19 degrees over at Metro Airport. Thank goodness we have some sunshine to go along with it, along with some fair weather clouds. Temperatures in the teens across the board near 4-zone weather from 16 in Port Huron to 19 at Metro Airport. And it's also about how cold it feels. The winds making it feel like it's around 1 to only about 4 or 5 degrees, and those wind chills go even lower. Temperatures go lower as well through the teens tonight, single digits when you join us at 11, and by tomorrow morning, but below 5 degrees, near or below 0. We'll talk about the rebound after that and your 7-day forecast in a few moments.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Well, the man who bought an AR-15 rifle for Kyle Rittenhouse will avoid prison thanks to a new plea deal that was accepted by a judge this afternoon. Dominic Black pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Prosecutors dropped 2 felony counts of intent to deliver a dangerous weapon to a minor. Now, under the plea deal, Black will pay a $2,000 fine. Each felony count could have led to 6 years in prison. Now, you'll remember Rittenhouse used the rifle to shoot 3 people, killing 2, and he was acquitted of homicide and other charges back in November. Hospitals are working at this hour to save survivors of the deadliest fire in New York City in 3 decades. City officials have lowered the death toll 1 day after a fire ripped through a Bronx high-rise, trapping families inside the apartment building. Kimberly Gill joins us with the very latest information about the investigation. Kim?
Hi, Karen. Investigators are trying to understand what exactly went wrong and prevent something like this from ever happening again. The fire only damaged a small part of the building, but the heavy smoke went everywhere, and victims were found on every floor of that 19-story high-rise. Some people couldn't escape. Others became incapacitated as they tried to get out. The medical examiner now says 17 people have died. That's actually 2 fewer than originally thought. 8 of the victims are children. Officials fear the death toll could rise, with dozens still in the hospital, many in critical condition. Investigators say a space heater in a second-floor unit caused that fire. As the people that lived in that unit tried to escape, a door to the apartment was left open, and that allowed the fire to grow and smoke to fill the building. That door was supposed to close on its own.
They are self-closing, but the door on 15 and the door to the fire apartment was not functioning as it should. If you're in a building, an apartment building that has self-closing doors, make sure it works. And if it doesn't, please point that out to the landlord, to the maintenance folks, and make sure your door closes as it should.
The building did not have fire escapes, only internal stairwells. It was built in the 1970s with help from the federal government and may not have been in full compliance with New York City's fire code. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he spoke with President Biden today, and the White House is offering its full support. We will be monitoring any new updates on this tragedy, and we'll bring you the very latest on the news at 5. Until then, Karen, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
Sure.